What's up, space pirates? This is your captain, the Dread Pirate Dr. Disaster, and Stellar Blade was always one of the top games of the year. Gamers who aren't trying to sell you an agenda, who aren't trying to push ugly female characters into games for the sake of adhering to political message, we have been forthright and blatant in our love of Stellar Blade. We reject ugly crap like Concord and Dustborn and Dragon Age, but we love stuff like Stellar Blade.
You're okay. This one, real f***ing ugly.
When it comes to games, gamers are simple creatures who just want fun. But journalists are on the side of the people who want to blur the lines between men and women. They want to social engineer. They advocate then for characters like Kay Vess from Star Wars Outlaws, where they blatantly take the attractive actress who played the character and turn her into a potato with hair on it.
You found me beautiful once.
Honey, you got real ugly.
Kay in Star Wars Outlaws could have looked like this. And if she did, then I guarantee that game would have sold much, much more, and Ubisoft wouldn't be sitting here with one foot in the grave. But that is why Stellar Blade did so well for itself. Shift Up knows their audience, and now, with the game's resurgence in popularity due to the excellent Nier Automata crossover DLC, the game journalists are trying to quietly switch their message from contempt toward Stellar Blade to unbridled praise. Grummz on Twitter pointed this out, and it's hilarious. Paul Tassi of Forbes once denounced the game because he hates us. He hates gamers. But now he's calling Stellar Blade one of the best games of the year. So basically, this perfectly illustrates how it kind of feels like the gaming industry at large got together and decided that every woman character was going to look like this from now on, but Shift Up swooped in and created Eve because they didn't get the memo and they decided they wanted to make some money. In response, this is what the rest of the industry is thinking.
Here she comes to wreck the day!
Meanwhile, true gamers have never wavered in what they think of Stellar Blade. As I said, when it comes to games, we are simple creatures. And in fact, our response to everything Stellar Blade has done can really be summed up in a single word.
Groovy.
Alright me hearties, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and also, don't forget to follow me over on Twitter or X or whatever you want to refer to it as these days. I keep a list on there of games lousy with wokeness pinned to the account at all times for your reference. My handle over there is Dr. Disaster 1. But alright, let's talk about Stellar Blade and how the journalists out there are turning around on this game because it is so clearly and obviously a popular hit. The thing that confuses me though is the fact that for all of the feminists out there, you'd have thought that Eve would have been their favorite character ever. She's a woman who kicks ass and takes names and doesn't take shit from anyone. And, to top it off, she's not repressed or anything like that. If these people had Brain 1 in their collective consciousness, they would have done everything they could to turn Eve into a symbol of their movement. But they didn't because they realized that gamers, who are mostly male, love to look at Eve. And if there's one thing that these feminists hate, it's males enjoying themselves. So now we have Paul Tassi, feminist simp extraordinaire, over here illustrating my point quite well. Grummz posted this on Twitter saying, "It's happening. Never forget journalists trashed Stellar Blade. Now they act like they loved it all along, and then down below he posted 2 images. This one here is an article that was written by Paul Tassi, and it's from all the way back in May, right around when Stellar Blade had come out. I remember seeing this article and rolling my eyes so hard that people around me thought I needed an exorcism. The headline tells you everything you need to know about the message these dolts were trying to push. Stellar Blade is now the highest user-scored PS5 game ever, which is a bit excessive. This is just one example in a million where you have journalists trying like hell to put their fingers on the scale and get people to not like certain games because it isn't in keeping with the sensibilities of the sewer creatures which inhabit the HR departments of all these major corporations. And now, this same journalist is writing this about Stellar Blade. This is the other image posted at the bottom of Grummz's tweet. The headline of this article says, Stellar Blade, one of 2024's best games, is finally on sale. And then, if we look at that bottom paragraph where there are parts highlighted, the highlights say, I would personally argue Stellar Blade is better than Black Myth Wukong. Stellar Blade is probably in my top 3 games of 2024, and I'd consider it one of the year's best.
Ah, so you come crawling back, you cheap sack of shit.
Now, one of the things I've seen a lot of the corporate apologist wokesters out there argue is that actually this didn't happen. That actually people in Access Media weren't shitting on Stellar Blade when it came out. As if we can't remember the likes of Alyssa Mercanti calling gamers names like Gooner and Incel for liking Stellar Blade, all while drooling over Hades 2. But here's a review that I find emblematic of everything these people were once espousing. This is the review on Metacritic from the site Video Gamer, which gave the game a 60 out of 100. And this little soy boy wrote, if you take just the combat and the music from Stellar Blade, you've got a fantastic game. Sadly, that is not the whole package. So clearly this person judged the game as something other than a game. He was judging it entirely based on aesthetics that don't appeal to him because this is how game journalists feel about attractive women. And then he wrote, the worst thing about Stellar Blade is that if I ever had any semblance of interest in the story, characters, or narrative, this was promptly stamped out due to the egregious levels of hypersexualization of Eve. Oh, someone is telling us a story about how the world got destroyed? Well, Eve is standing there in a revealing bunny suit, giving these emotional reactions and trying to make you care about what happens, and it just doesn't work. Throw in a smattering of weird camera angles and jiggle physics, and you'll realize that Stellar Blade exists as a fan service game. Granted, outfits don't change your stats, so you can cover Eve up. Stellar Blade also doesn't take itself too seriously on that front, so if you're okay with it, then that's fine. On the other hand, I think it's fair to say that Eve's design is questionable, and she only exists to serve as glorified eye candy at best. There's nothing wrong with attractive characters, but revealing outfits are the norm for the female characters in Stellar Blade, while the men are covered head to toe in what can only be called appropriate clothing.
Ha! Gay!
And there you have it. These guys were very blatantly against Stellar Blade as recently as 5 minutes ago. But just like with everything else, the wind is blowing in our direction, in the direction of the gamers, and these people in Access Media are weather vanes, so they're changing their tune. It's too bad Stellar Blade was still snubbed by the Game Awards for Game of the Year. That tells you how the powers that be in the industry really feel about Stellar Blade. But anyhow, I'm gonna leave it there. Drop your mockery of Access Media journalists into the comment section below, and we will talk there.
Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your captain is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.